Baruchim Habayim. This class is dedicated to the honor of Rabbi Eliyahu Bakshi Daron of blessed memory. Today we're going to speak about health in Torah, and before I begin, I'd like to discuss something that is prevalent today, that a lot of people unfortunately don't want to accept the Torah unless science first proves it. There is one person who I won't call him a rabbi, but he says, he didn't believe in the exodus of Egypt because there is no scientific proof. He said this on Pesach, and it's just unbelievable. Even in Brit Milah and other things that people don't want to accept because they didn't see scientific proof. But there are also many other things that, such as shechita, ritual slaughtering, that later it was proven that it's better, it's less detrimental to the animal. He barely feels any pain, less than a second. Whereas doing shechita on a non-kosher animal would actually cause that animal a lot of pain, because kosher animals are built differently and the shechita affects them differently. In addition, we know that our Torah teaches us everything from A to Z. From the second that we're, before we're even born until after we die, the Torah has halachot that tell us how to act in those situations. And yes, only later on science discovers those things, but we don't need science to help us with that. There's one thing in particular that I'd like to discuss before we start the halachot, is about the world. In the past, the people thought the earth was flat. And they thought the earth was held like there was like a giant elephant on top of a turtle and he's holding the earth and all this nonsense. And in those days, if you were to say that the earth is round, they would laugh at you. Later on, Greek philosophers started to say that the world is round, but it was still not the majority of the people didn't think like that. However, in Jewish scriptures, we already knew that. It says in the book of Iyov, he suspends the earth on nothingness. Literally, that's exactly what it says in the English translation. And the book of Iyov was written thousands of years ago. And in addition, we see in the Zohar, which was written over 2,000 years ago, quotes a book by Rav Hamnun Asaba, who wrote this book before the Zohar. And the Zohar is the oral Torah, so it's just tradition that's passed down. It was nothing new. It says on there, it says the entire world and those upon it spin around in a circle like a ball. There are those at the bottom of the ball, and there are those at the top. So this is already teaching us that the world spins on an axis. The second thing it says is all God's creatures, wherever they live on different parts of the ball, look different. Because you have some guy in a different climate, is going to be darker, and another guy's going to be lighter, and he's going to have different features. And it's also teaching us another thing, that there's gravity. If one guy is on this part, and the other guy's on the bottom, he's not going to fall off. So he's hinting to gravity. Another thing that it says is there are places in the world where some have light, others have darkness, some have day, others have night. And it says there's a place in the world that it's day, all day it's light, and then only a small part is nighttime. Like I think Alaska and Arctic regions have that situation. The last thing he says, and this secret has been passed on to men of wisdom, the wisdom of the Torah. What is he saying? He's basically saying that it was not known to the scientists of the time, and on purpose it was supposed to be a secret. And it's also saying that this was gathered not through research, but from Torah sages over the generations, and the source of this knowledge is the Torah. So we knew the world was round without NASA and without any of that stuff. And there are many other things that the sages of the Torah learned, and only later science is going to discover that. Okay, now we're going to start with the halacha about sleeping. Just like I said, Torah talks about everything. How much does a person have to sleep? Everyone knows the popular 6 to 8 hours. So Yalkut Yosef brings Rav Ben Ishchai, who says that. He says that one should sleep 6 to 8 hours, and he also mentions that most of the doctors agree about that time. However, he adds another thing. He says if you sleep more than 8 hours, it's going to damage your health. It's comparable to a cell phone. If you take a cell phone, you charge it, it becomes 100%, and you just leave it on for like another few hours, it eventually damages the battery. And that's how our bodies are. We can't sleep extra and then like 12 hours, we're going to have makeup, have 4 hours bonus. It's not like that. We also see again in the book of Eov, there's a quote from the Magen Avraham brings it, I slept and then comfort came to me. So in Hebrew the word then, az, Aleph Zayin, the numerical value was 8. So you can read it, you can understand it as I slept, and then there was 8, comfort came to me. I slept 8 hours and I had comfort. Okay, another thing, the Rambam says, however, once you reach the age of 50, then you don't need to sleep 6 to 8 hours, you can sleep 5 to 6 hours. The body does not need that much rest. And we know that the Rambam was accepted, he lived about 800 years ago. Even till today, the Rambam, known as Maimonides, is even accepted by the non-Jewish world. The next halacha talks about the following. It says that one should not sleep during the day. ראוי לו לאדם להימנע משינה ביום משום ביטול תורה. אולם אם על ידי שישן מעט ביום יכול ללמוד בלילה עד שעה מאוחרת יותר, או שיוכל ללמוד יותר בריכוז ועיון, מותר לישון ביום, אך לא ירבה בשינה, וכן לשבת מותר לישון ביום. So it's saying that a person ideally should not sleep during the day because he'll be wasting potential time for Torah learning. However, if he knows it's going to give him a boost, then he could take a little nap during the day. Boost for Torah learning. And the last thing that it says is that a person is allowed to take a nap during the day on Shabbat. We're going to talk about all of these topics. So first of all, we have to understand that we were created to learn Torah every single second of the day. That's pretty hard to do, but that we should be aiming in that direction. And even when we have fun, or we go out, want to have a steak, or whatever it is, we're doing that we're doing it as an incentive, so then we can go back and learn Torah again. It takes time for people to build to a level of learning 10 hours a day. Some people may never get there, it doesn't matter, but Hashem knows what's in your mind and in your heart, and He knows that you try to